Trust the process. That's what Sean Payton boldly says as he takes a big risk and wins. His gamble pays off, and the Denver Broncos finally land the guy they wanted all along. But that's not all. Another Broncos player is already predicting a Super Bowl win in the near future. Plus, I'll personally respond to some criticism about myself and this show. We've got a lot to talk about, so stick around. Before we dive into the latest news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss an update. Your support helps us bring you top-quality NFL content. All right, let's get into it. This offseason has been full of surprises, especially when it comes to our special teams coaching staff. We've come a long way since the rough days of Nathaniel Hackett when our special teams were a joke in the league. Now, things are looking better. Marvin Mims is making the Pro Bowl. Will Lutz is hitting almost every field goal, and we even had an AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. But just when things were improving, we fired our special teams coordinator. Then, Chris Banjo, who was the next in line and a favorite of Sean Payton, left for the Jets. Suddenly, we had no coach for our special teams. That's when all eyes turned to Darren Rizzi. We were hoping he wouldn't take the Saints job, and guess what? He didn't. Everything fell into place, and the Broncos ended up getting, in my opinion, the best special teams coordinator available. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Darren Rizzi isn't just joining as our special teams coordinator. He's also stepping in as assistant coach. This is one of the perks of having the richest owner in sports. We can pay extra to bring in top talent. Sure, his role might not change much from what he did in New Orleans, but that assistant coach title? That means a lot more money. And trust me, the Broncos aren't afraid to spend when it comes to getting the best. This is a fantastic hire for the Broncos. Darren Rizzi was a beloved figure in the New Orleans locker room, and it's easy to see why. Just look at what happened when he was promoted to interim head coach. The team was on a losing streak, and then suddenly, they came alive. We all remember that Thursday night game when we completely dominated them. But even in that loss, the Saints looked fired up. They played with way more energy than before. So, what makes Rizzi so special? He has charisma. He's funny, relatable, and knows how to connect with players. On his first day on the job as interim coach, he told a hilarious story about how he clogged the toilet before a game against the Falcons. The whole team laughed, and that moment showed exactly why guys love playing for him. He's the kind of coach players would run through a wall for. Now, let's just hope we don't have too many clogged toilets in Mile High Stadium. Maybe the thin air will help things move a little faster. But, jokes aside, this hire is proof that Sean Payton is building something special in Denver. A lot of people have been saying that coaches are leaving the Broncos because they don't want to work with Payton. But Rizzi coming here completely shuts down that idea. Think about it. He could have taken any special teams job in the NFL. He was even being considered for head coaching roles, and yet he chose Denver. That says a lot. This isn't just a good hire, it's a game changer. Darren Rizzi could have gone anywhere, but he chose to join Sean Payton in Denver. That tells you everything you need to know. If Payton wasn't respected, you wouldn't see 18 people leave New Orleans to follow him. That alone proves how much people believe in him as a leader. Now, let's talk about what makes Rizzi such a great special teams coordinator. He's not just good at motivating players, he knows how to build winning strategies. That's what makes this hire so exciting. At first, there were concerns about who would take over special teams. But now, we got an upgrade. Last season, Rizzi's special teams unit in New Orleans was ranked number 2 in the entire NFL. The Broncos were ranked number 7. That's already a strong position. But now, with Rizzi leading the way, we have a chance to climb even higher. Think about it. Marvin Mims is an all-pro returner. Will Lutz is a super reliable kicker. And now, we have one of the best coordinators in the league. Special teams is one of those areas where depth matters. The Saints didn't have much talent last season because of their contract situation, but Rizzi still made them one of the best in the league. Now, imagine what he can do in Denver. A better front office, a better organization. More talent to work with. Going from number 7 to number 1 won't be easy, but under Darren Rizzi and Sean Payton, we're going to climb the ranks. With George Paton working to bring in even more talent, special teams is about to get stronger than ever. Darren Rizzi has been one of the best special teams coaches for a long time. A great stat from Andrew Mason shows just how good he is. In 12 seasons, Rizzi's special teams ranked in the top 10 8 times. 4 of those times, his unit was in the top 5. That's incredible. Now, imagine what he can do with even more talent in Denver. A few years ago, the Broncos' special teams were a joke, but with Rizzi leading the way, we could soon have a top 5 unit in the NFL. Former players are already praising him. Chris Harris Jr. shared a great example of Rizzi's football IQ. One time, Rizzi noticed the way an opponent lined up and immediately suspected a fake punt. He kept Harris Jr. on the field, and guess what? Harris stopped the play. That's next-level coaching, seeing things before they happen and making the right call in big moments. But special teams isn't the only area where Denver is stacking talent. Even Bill Belichick recently shared his all-pro team, listing the best players at every position. And guess what? The Broncos were all over that list. Best interior defensive line? Zach Allen. Best cornerback in football? Patrick Surtain. This team is getting stronger, and with leaders like Darren Rizzi and Sean Payton, we're heading toward something special. Bill Belichick's all-pro team shows just how much talent the Broncos have. Best returner in football? Marvin Mims. Best right guard? Quinn Miners. One of the best left tackles? Garrett Bowles. With a strong coaching staff and top-tier players, the Broncos are in a position to take a huge leap next season. That's why John Franklin Myers, one of the first players to call this team young and hungry, recently said he wants to see a Super Bowl parade in Denver. And guess what? It's possible. Why? $50 million in cap space. Room to improve both offense and defense. A team that's ready to compete at the highest level. We've already talked about how the Broncos could add more weapons to the roster. Could they bring in a star wide receiver? Some names that have been mentioned include Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel Chris Godwin, Davante Adams, T. Higgins. Adding a player like that would make the Broncos even more dangerous going into next season. The pieces are falling into place. Now, it's time to take the next step. So, Mike Carolini posted a video on Twitter, and honestly, it feels like a personal attack on me. He made fun of how Denver Broncos podcasts talk about the team's search for a wide receiver. It went something like this. We should sign Cooper Kupp. Oh yeah, totally agree. But maybe Deebo Samuel's better? Oh yeah, Deebo for sure. But Kupp would be cheaper. Yep, I'm 100% in on Kupp. Okay. I see his point. Maybe I have talked about a lot of different options. But here's my defense. I trust Sean Payton 1,000%. If he believes a certain player will make the Broncos better, then I'm all in. If Sean Payton says Cooper Kupp is the guy, I'm running through a wall. If he wants Davante Adams, let's make it happen. If it's Deebo Samuel, sign me up. Sean Payton is brilliant. He's made moves that I didn't always understand at first, but later, they turned out to be genius. That's why I trust him to pick the right wide receiver. But if I had to choose one myself, Chris Godwin. That's my pick. But at the end of the day, whoever Sean Payton wants, I'm on board. Now, Broncos fans, I want to hear from you. Which wide receiver do you want? Drop your pick in the comments. Football on Fire.